Hello, hello, aloha, fellow DHP participants and friends and family, and good to have you here today. So, just want to recap one of the recommendations or the directives for the week of week 7 in the Diamond Heart Project 2026 offering is investigating what they call the SILVA method, and this is something that was created by Jose Silva back in the 70s, and you can research it yourself. It's a really deep and powerful program they offer on the Mind Valley application or the app or the School of Mind Valley that teach a lot of conscious-based programs, and so you can investigate yourself around how it goes. But the Silva method is really about this gentleman named Jose Silva had, I believe, in between 5 to 7, 8 children back in the 60s and 70s, and he wanted his children to be able to have the power to be in confidence with themselves. And he came across this ability to, on some level, elevate their system into an alpha brain state, so they could access all of consciousness or the intelligence of God itself in any given moment. And he began to teach this to his children. And at that time, there was a belief system in the science realm that the people with ESP only had these gifts and was select individuals. And so he went out to prove the fact that he could actually teach his children how to have ESP based on this method that he began to design. This was originally to help his children be more confident in school. And so it's very detailed method in that, and we're just going to dive into the intro of it. And this method has to do with activating yourself in that morning state of consciousness. So as you come out of the dream state, as you come out of your sleeping state, in that alpha brain state of higher consciousness with the full DMT activation in your dream state that happens when you get into deep REM sleep, as you're coming out of that sleep, within the first 5 minutes, you become aware that you are coming out of your sleep, and there's no activation, meaning the fact that you don't put your feet on the ground, there's no opening your eyes, there's no added effort to move yourself into the waking state. But the moment you begin to be aware that you're coming into the waking state from your sleeping state, you catch yourself. And from that moment, you begin to reverse count. So I would say in the beginning, start off at 100 or start off at 75, and you just count backwards with your breath. So maybe you inhale 75, exhale 74, and you just walk yourself back to 1. Somewhere in that stage between counting back from 100 or 75, you will drop into that space between a full dream state and a full wake state. So you will be consciously aware of where you are in the navigation of the dream space. And at that space, you can manifest some very incredible things in your life, because it's right there in front of you. You're already in the frequency of the alpha state of the mind. And more importantly, you're in the God intelligence. So whatever you want to then bring into your day, whether you want to bring in abundance, whether you want to bring in information, whether you want to bring in beautiful relationships, whatever it is, from either a detailed standpoint or from a micro or macrocosm standpoint, you have the access point in a conscious state, in the dream state, while you're there. And like I said, I'm not here to teach you the SILVA method. I've experienced it. It's a practice that I have. But I would invite you that if it's something that really calls to you to investigate more, you can look it up. You can get books on it. You can look it up on Mind Valley. There's many other ways for you to investigate how it works. But we're not doing it for the realm of manipulating the lottery. But there is a woman who was Jose Silva's assistant throughout his life who was able to win any contest she was ever a part of, whether it be the lottery, whether it be a trip, a cruise, anything she applied for, she won because she knew how to connect to the results of that experience in her conscious state between the dream and waking state and call forth those results in those experiences. So again, very simple. It's an intro. There's so much more deeper, like many more different types of meditations you can do with it, but the starting foundational point is that when you begin to recognize that you are in a dream state, beginning to come into the waking state in the morning, you catch yourself and you begin to count down. I would say for the first 5 days, start at 100. As your system gets more used to transitioning into that back and forth into that state, maybe after 5 days you reduce the count to 75. And then after 5 days you reduce the count to 55, then maybe 35, and then maybe 25, because it will be a lot easier to access that state when you get used to doing it. So I hope that makes sense to you. But again, when you recognize you're coming into the waking state from the dream state, there's no movement. Don't wake up. Don't open your eyes. Don't look at your phone. Don't drink water. Don't put your feet on the ground. Like, allow yourself to be in that space of limbo a little bit. You catch yourself, and then you begin to count with your breath backwards from 100 or 75, 55, 35, 25, wherever you are in your process of doing the method. And go from there. And just begin to see how you navigate that. And then coming out of that into your practice afterwards is really beautiful in your meditation. So blessings to you. Trying that out. Try the method. If you want to have more conversation around it in our integration call, please bring your questions and clarity or anything else.